I think I got everything set up. Boop. Let's go do this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today we're paying up the master of the dark dimension, Dormammu himself. I think I'm going to go with the classic color scheme here. I think a lot of people will be doing classic. I think it'd be nice to just do some classic comic book costume. We do a lot of alternates. I could see a couple alternates, maybe blue flame, green flame. We've done some Ghost Riders like that, Schick and I. So I kind of want to do something classic. So let's do the black and red and the orange flames. I think that's where we're going. Let's just find out. I'm just doing it. We're doing it. Switch to the minicam, kick it over there now because that's where the fun begins. Boom. Dormammu. How is everyone today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Maybe you're painting, maybe you're not, maybe you're just at home doing some stuff. So let's get started. I've taken some red. I just took some primary art red and a little touch of magenta ink, and I mixed a little touch of magenta ink into my primary red. And what this does is just kind of increase the increase the intensity of that red. What's coming from my light? Oh, I got really beautiful art lamps, and they are right above my noggin. So, you know, that's just sort of the nature of the beast. The microphone is super good, so it picks everything up, of course. That just means I gotta talk a little bit more, I guess, right? Water over here, and we're just gonna paint this up. So I know Schick painted Doctor Strange, and this whole wave has just been a really neat process to work on. Just from a miniature design philosophy and the way we approach them, and then even like a rules. I don't typically go into rules, but I do love the way the rules of this wave are, and Dormammu especially is just. Oh my gosh! I just love the way this guy works. So super excited to get him painted up and on the table. Personally. Maybe I'm just rocking a sweet filter on my voice, or maybe that's just the way my voice sounds. I got the wub dubs. Wub, wub, wub. So he doesn't have a lot of red, but he's got these really lovely areas that accentuate kind of the form and presence. So I just kind of want to. As you can see, this is a fairly heavy coat. Not really glazing like normal here. Doing a little different. I like to mix it up sometimes. Throw y'all for a loop. I'm just going to paint some deep reds on here. Nice solid. On the underside of the cape. More like a skirt, I guess. If I get a little on there, that's on the blacks, that's fine. For the areas that will be black, that's fine. Remember, painting miniatures is the fine art of correcting one's mistakes. If you have any questions about why I'm doing something, kick it over to me. I mean, I got a raspy voice, gamers web. I got a raspy voice. I think y'all just hearing that. My gravels. So this doesn't have to be perfect on the underside. I just want to throw a little red in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, that's all the red. So let's go ahead and start shading it. Are there different head options? There are not. There are not different head options for Dormammu. Do we got any blue laying around here? Maybe just a little blue. I got a little bit of blue. There are no different head options. There's no there's no real options to our Dormammu. It's my love buzz. That's what you're hearing, Caleb. You're hearing my love buzz. Just mixing up a couple colors. What I want. Let's put a little brown in that too. How does convocation? You're gonna have to wait to find out how convocation works. I'm sure all that will be coming. BK got a plan, as usual. We can't tip all the cards, not all at once. What's the fun of that? If you just give everything away. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know I'm mega tight-lipped. You can't get anything out of me. So what I've done here is I put a little blue and brown into the same red that I used for my base. And I'm going to push it into the little corners here. You fear Dormammu won't fit in your case? I don't know. He's pretty tall, but there's plenty of cases that hold him. A lot of times for these big figures, these big miniatures, I'll kind of cut a section and lay them down instead of trying to stand them up. Like, as my granddad said, you know, there's more than one way to eat a pie. So I'm just stretching this out with that second damp brush over top of the red to kind of create some volumetric shapes on that torso. I haven't read the new Spider-Man by Bacallo yet. I love Chris Bacallo's art though. Like, just absolutely adore Chris Bacallo's art. Josh Colone, our art director, for Christmas brought me the art of Chris Bacallo book, and it is fantastic. Like, it is such a joy to flip through. I just love his style on how he represents form, and just real creative in the kind of the way he designs creatures and plants and stuff like that. Just does really beautiful work, in my opinion. Not every piece of art's for everybody, but you know, for me, Chris Bacallo. That's okay. Not everything has to be for everybody. Not everything has to be for me. I think that's an important thing to remember sometimes. Let's give it a little texture. Right, that's just a kind of a primary. The distorting audio is significant. Shit compared Dormammu to Thanos. I don't know if I see what he's saying. Like, he's definitely more of a threat than Thanos. And his playstyle is very cool. He has a very interesting playstyle. What I like to say is just perfectly fits my playstyle personally. So I'm super excited for Dormammu. Let's bring in some shades in that cape. He is on a 65mm base. I know somebody asked that and I didn't answer it, and I apologize. He's on 65. So same base as the Hulk. He's just so tall and upright that it was very easy to make the 65mm base work for him. So that was great. We didn't have to design a new base or anything, just to fit him. He does have a unique base that fits with the nexus point, so kind of like Thanos kind of pops into his Thanos throne basing element. Dormammu here does the same thing philosophically. Let's darken this up. I mean, everything can be used in a normal game. I mean, if you watch the streams where we play Marvel Crisis Protocol, we use Thanos' throne in normal games. It's just a piece of terrain that looks cool and sets that setting and that like story, that narrative, which is super important. Dormammu's portals and his Nexus throne do have rules. So that's 35, 50, 65 is the base sizes of Marvel Crisis Protocol. Fifty is not the largest. So this is just a little more blue mixed into that red. Is there a limit on how tall minis can be before they become too costly to make or hard to build? I don't know. We can make some really big stuff. You know, the bigger it is, the more expensive it is to make, obviously. So it's going to change the price. Let's take some little lines again. It's got this nice little texture on his carapace armor here. I mean, we can make some big stuff. I love big stuff. I love big baddies. I'm a big fan of like the big monsters. Here we go. Now let's do the same thing on the, let's So I shaded this side, and this is missing a shade right here. I'm just kind of choosing on the underside where to accentuate the shadow. Yeah, I think all those are doable. It's just to what extent, right? I mean, just making measures big. We can make big measures. And I love them. I love big creatures, big monsters. Let's throw some of that blue brown up in those shadows, those deep shadows. This doesn't have to be a blend or anything. This is just to give an impression of some shadowing. Galactus can change his shape too. Alright, let's add some like hot orange. Let's get some hot orange. I'm using a giant brush. I'm going to mix this into the base coat red colors. Start accentuating those little lines. That texture. Just keeping my hand really still and tight. I'm just drawing down. I'm kind of drawing away from the miniature first, so I'm not actually touching it. The first couple strokes you're seeing, I'm kind of keeping away from the miniature. And then when I feel confident in the line, I go and I bring the tip of the brush close and let it just touch the miniature, just ever so slight. Just keeping the paint nice and loose. I'm gonna use this paint, this color, to highlight this edge of this armor plate, but not the other edge. A lot of times you highlight. You can highlight lots of different ways. So you see a lot of times you kind of highlight all around the element, like a edge highlight all around the element. I don't typically do that. I sort of pick one side and highlight from that side, and then even if I were to like do this, like let's put a highlight on that side, why not? Since we're talking about it, I would come back and do a higher highlight on this side. I don't want an equal highlight all the way around the element. This makes it look more natural. It makes it look a little more, brings a little more realism to it. And see these little arches? Like I shaded one side of the arch and I'm going to highlight the other side. And that lets that arch kind of live and stand. And lets that form shine through much easier and better. Because our light's coming from this way. So now we're just going to take more orange. The blackbird question. What's the question about the blackbird? Let's add some bright yellow. I didn't catch your question, so. So add some yellow. That might be too much. Put a little more orange into that. We just want to lighten this up, keep it warm, hot. Oh, do I want to talk about? No, not really. It's a pretty cool blackbird. And we're going to focus this yellow color toward this side, the side with the hand up, because that's where I've determined my light source is kind of coming from. So I want a little more, and then I'm going to do that edge of the armor plate here, but I'm not going to do the other edge. Remember, things do not need to be highlighted equitably. You can vary it up and play with it, and it makes it look, and that's how you play with a realistic and natural shape. I think everybody knows that we don't talk about any possible future at all. So, sorry, we cannot talk about anything past what we've shown. It's not how we work. Sorry. Start a little edge highlight there. So let's kick that whole, I want this whole edge to be the highlighted edge. Because I think once we shade the black, the orange against the black is going to look way better. Alright, we want some black now. And a little gray and a little white. It's got a couple of different colors out here, like rainy gray from scale 75. I got some art colors. Somebody asked about inks earlier. I really love artist inks. You can find a lot of different art inks. I like to use them. I've done several videos on how to use them. You know, there's a multitude of philosophies and approaches to using art inks. I like to mix them into my paints a lot because it kind of changes the vibrancy and such. Woo! So let's mix a little gray, a little black, a little white, a little blue. Let's do that blue. We want to keep this as far away from the red as possible. So that's why we're going blue. We want to show that contrast, that lovely contrast between them. I want some translucency in this too. Yeah, shown and announced is two different things. That's just the way words work. You can't trick me, chat, and cookies don't work on me either. Alright, we're going to use some art medium to create some translucency into this project. I forgot. Oh, I do love puppies. I went to Schick's house a couple weeks ago to pet his puppies, and it was the best. So I mix some gray, blue, black, mix it all together, add some art medium. And we're going to stretch this out over these areas that we want to be black. Just like so. That's a terrible blend. Got hair in there too. So we're going to stretch it out one way, and I'm going to come from the other way. I want to imagine that light is sort of not hitting here, but hitting more here. So I need to bring in shade from both sides to create that round volumetric shape. We have so many things to announce though. Ready 19. So many things in the process, so many things in the works. The future is so cool looking. Let me tell you. Like just across all of atomic mass. Just so much cool stuff always in the works. Alright, we're kind of doing like a glaze, but I'm kind of blending it. Yeah, I don't know much about dates. That's distribution. You know, there's I read an article the other day about there's a pallet shortage, and like all the docks are backed up. Like it's crazy what's happening out there. Like I can't even imagine trying to be responsible for the logistics of the world right now. Like it's quite complex. Makes me go, well, I'll just stick with making miniatures, because that is a complex problem. So you can see this is kind of just subtly toning all my zenith priming into like a gray. And what we're going to do is we're going to just keep gradually adding deeper shadows. I'm not going to go to highlights. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build the shadows up into the highlights. How long current design will take us out? We design... Yeah, it's a distribution thing. Like it's a big issue. Like it's well beyond anyone I personally know. You know, the information's out there. You can go find out about it, about what's going on in the world. But it's a pretty big and complex situation. Anyways, what I can talk about is I'm painting the black armor with the gray glazed Mandalorian orange. I'm bad at pronouncing the Twitch words. I'm using glaze and blends, and I'm building up the shadow to create the highlight at the very end. That's my goal. So anyways, the design process, like I can't speak from a development side because I don't work in that department. I have some idea, and but I don't like speaking for departments. But from a sculpting, the design managers, we like an 18 to 24 month, right, design window from start to finish. Like, that's where we like to be. It takes a long time to make a miniature, and it takes even longer to do it in hard plastic. And until you really do it, you don't really even see all the issues and all the nuances of it until you do it. It's been a really interesting and fun process to learn and grow and understand better for our teams. Yeah, it's a real long time. U.S. August 20th, Mysterio, Black Cat, Spider-Man, and Carnage. Holy moly. I'm so stoked. Yeah, these things take a long time. There's a lot of steps, many steps, like before, if you would have asked me what the steps were, I would have listed them out, and I would have got them all wrong, actually. But now doing this for the number of years we've been doing this, I'm like, wow, how would I miss that step? But I totally wouldn't have thought about it. So it's a long time to make miniatures. Yeah, this Mandy, I'm just going to say Mandy Laurie again. This technique is a little slower than I would normally paint, but I think that this kind of Dormammu himself is like sort of like I've been saying is like kind of the way I like to play the game. Just I love a big baddie, a big threat that brings a lot of interesting stuff and focuses on having the big thing. So I really love just the idea of the playstyle of Dormammu, but also just I love big centerpiece miniatures, and it's Dormammu, which is awesome. So I kind of want to give him a little bit extra love, especially since he comes with an ultimate encounter, and I totally want to play that ultimate encounter, and have like that big awesome moment when you put him on the table. Like what a great feeling, right? Taking something and getting it all painted up, right? And it doesn't have to be your best. I mean, you can do your best, but like it doesn't have to be a competition level paint job. Just something you're proud of. And you go down to the local game store and everybody's setting up, right? And you're just like, hey, check it out. And you pull out, some awesome thing that you poured your heart and soul into, and it just looks totally bonkers. I know I love that, and I love when others do, because I love getting inspired and I love a good healthy challenge too. Way back in the day, I had a friend that worked at the game store, and every week he'd be like, check it out, I painted this, and I'd be like, oh, it's so good, like, oh, and he'd be like, and it's like, I sort of took it as a challenge, right? I'm like, I'm going to show you. And then I'd go home and I'd paint something. And the next week I'd bring it back and be like, look what I did. And he'd be like, ah, like, that's so good. And then he'd kind of take it as a challenge. Like, so you're just challenging each other. Oh boy, I love that. All right, I'm just slowly building this black up. I bet Dallas, you have a curtain giant triple priced neck. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. He'll be between 1 and 60 threat. Dormammu. I would put, yeah, I'd say between 1 and 60. That's a fair evaluation of his threat value. Did Schick not give it away? I wasn't sure if Schick gave it away last week. I don't give anything away. I'm just here to paint and hang out. And to tell you how awesome your painting is. Alright, a little more of this, a little more of that, a little more of this color. Grab a little bit of that. Mixing it all up. Dormammu and Thanos only. Dormammu and Thanos only. Can you do Dormammu and Thanos only? Yeah, you can totally do that. I mean, I'd still take a couple gems, but, you know, you can do that. Will the worthy return? That's a great question. The worthy has not gone anywhere. The worthy is just temporarily, like a lot of us, on hiatus. But the worthy will return. The statue is gorgeous, and I'm jealous I never get to win one. So hopefully we will announce something, and I will be able to give one of these statues away that I can never own. And maybe it'll be one of you. Who knows? But I look forward to seeing some wonderfully painted Marvel Crisis Protocol in the future to vie for the challenge of the worthy. We don't forget things. You might think we forget, but we don't forget. Josh has a memory like an elephant. So once again, we're just kind of sketching in some shadows and building it up. And you see it just keeps getting darker and darker. Scabs, are there any alternative parts to Dormammu in the box? There are not. There are not. Let's paint his face. Do it like this. Once again, we've already established my shade side, so I'm focusing on that. So the kind of the philosophy behind alternate parts. Everybody asks about alternate parts. It really comes down to sort of if it makes sense and is easy to engineer. Right? So there's a lot of discussions and a lot of planning that goes into all these miniatures. And we kind of established, like, you know, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? What about this? Stuff like that. Organized play front. There's all kinds of organized play. And more to come. more to come. I was just listening to developers earlier talking about some organized play. So Pagani loves organized play, so he's always thinking about it. This side's a little darker, so I'm going to go a little heavier. The back side of that shoulder. Alright, let's start darkening it up. Just to have more black in there. That's what we're doing. I wonder how obscure the game will get in terms of characters. Shake and I have said multiple times, I don't think that there's a Marvel character we don't want to do. Like, the philosophy is every character is someone's favorite. And I think that it's very important that we do our best to try and get everybody's favorite, right? I don't think I could name a Marvel character that I would be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, that just doesn't exist. And I don't think that there's anything that I thought of that we couldn't come up with a really great miniature of. So, even from a design standpoint, there's nothing that's like stumped us of like, well, can't we do that? We love talking about miniatures. We have a lot of years in the works, and you know, like I said, 18 to 24 months is kind of like what the sculpting needs. So there's so many stories to tell and so much deep, rich history in Marvel. And there's nothing wrong with Stiltman. Tippy Toe with Squirrel Roll? Squirrel Girl is such an interesting, like, sort of take on comics. Like, I think there's probably some fun design to be had there. You know, Shake talks about how he thinks the challenge of designing something like the Sentry would be a lot of fun to tackle. Like I said, I don't think there's anything that you're just like, alright, this is just still darkening, and now you can see how that just gradual darkening, how this is working. To create a nice black. yeah, Schick talked about Sentry a long time ago, several times, and like I think, like Schick said, right? It's a design that has a lot of challenges, but they're not insurmountable challenges, and that's kind of the fun of it. Is the tricky stuff is the fun stuff, right? Doing the easy version of something is literally no fun. And even from a miniature standpoint on that one, like we can talk about that. Like sometimes you gotta have a variety, and sometimes you want to kind of like break the mold and kind of do something that is not expected, right? Even from a designing the sculpt standpoint. So sometimes you want to look at a character and stay within the feel and the prowess and the philosophy of the character, but from the miniature design, like take it to the next step, right? Like play with it and see what you can do, right? Like the Doctor Strange that was just shown, right? That was okay. So we did Doctor Strange in the ring. Okay, so we're doing this other Doctor Strange. What does that mean, right? Well, what can we do? So we learn a lot of lessons as we go along, right? The secret of life is learning lessons, trying new things, fearing regret, not failure. So you kind of take the lessons you learn from, let's say, Storm and Scarlet Witch and Hela, right? These lessons from designing those miniatures. You're like, okay, so how do we go to the next step, and what does that mean? So somebody like the new Doctor Strange comes along, and you're like, okay, well, what can we do here? How can we push this? How can we push this the philosophy of the studio from a design? And you start really diving into it. And that new Doctor Strange, like, that was conceived, and we all kind of was like, can we actually do this? And I had to take some foam, some hobby foam, and blue tack, and I think it was a extra Hawkeye that was laying around, and I sort of built out a sort of a visual design proof of concept for that Doctor Strange, just to see like what was even like, what would this look like, how would this work, and then you sort of present that to the engineering team, and we all come together and we have a meeting, right? And we're like, okay, well, so this is this and this is this, and like, how would we cut this up, and what is the pitfalls that the sculptor needs to watch for, right, when the sculptor gets a hold of this? Is there a certain costume, right? Is there a certain costume that would lend itself to be easier to do stuff like a lot of times costumes are designed or picked much earlier and stuff like that, but it's still questions that, even if I don't express them, it's in the top of my mind, right? When we're designing all this. And that's how you push yourself to grow and develop new stuff. Trying to keep up with chat. I got painting and talking, and I didn't look up at the chat. Oh heck, it's 1:50. Now's the time. Get in your questions and see if I can answer them. If you have any questions about the painting, or do my best to answer anything that I can answer. Can't answer everything, of course. There's always secrets. Oh man, let me tell you, back in the 90s, I owned all that stuff, all those comics. Onslaught was a big deal. Onslaught was a big deal. Yeah, Marvel Unlimited is, I think, 3 weeks behind street dates. Stretch it out, make it glaze. Yeah, it could be 6. I can't remember where Marvel Unlimited is. Man, I was rambling about something. I don't even remember what it was now. Thinking about where to place these colors. Which direction do I want to go here? I think I want to definitely start back behind the cape. I know you can't see it. I'm on the back side of the camera. We just gotta blend that out. Bring this down over that boot cuff. This is all black. Man, I really can't remember what the heck I was talking about. Getting old. Getting forgetful. Get that black paint in all those little crevices. Greg, you're not going to help me out? What was I talking about? Greg won't lie to me. None of y'all would lie to me, right? No, I don't remember that at all. See, no one was listening to me. I might have been giving away 6 spoilers. Nobody's listening. Alright, just keep darkening it up. So I'm going to leave it a little bit. I'm not going to darken the forearms up as much and this upper plate because I am going to throw a little cast light on that. So there's just no need to paint it. It's unnecessary, so. Greg, you know that's not the kind of questions I can answer. I talk about stuff that we've announced. Or stuff I'm painting. Darken it up all the way to the top of his little spiky bit, because he's Dormammu. I'm going to do this the exact same way as I did the red. I'm just going to keep darkening it. And then throw highlights on it. Little tiny highlights. That's not where that black goes, but that's alright. Sometimes you just put paint in the wrong darn place. Oh, I'm liking this idea of neon Dormammu. I mean, Schick just painted a synthwave ancient one. Like maybe a synthwave Dormammu with like teals and magentas. He's got like teal armor and magenta flames with like a lush purple belly. Plus I just got to say lush purple belly, so I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like a winner today. Blacklight Dormammu, yeah, truly the darkest dimension. I'm waiting, I can't wait for here in a little bit at the end of the stream, and I go and I meet Schick for our next meetings, and he's like, you really went all out on that Dormammu. What are my thoughts? I have not used any color shift paints, so I don't particularly have thoughts. Sorry. I kind of tend to do all my effects. I joke all the time at work that I'm very analog, meaning I'm terrible at computers, and they frustrate me to no end. So I tend to do all my effects by hand. That's just me. It's just the way my brain works. I love the idea of negative Dormammu, like in that Negative Man style, where like the highlights are deep and the shading is raised, and you got that blue and kind of gray thing happening. I think that'd be pretty amazing, actually. If you pull off a super effective negative Dormammu, I expect you to share that with me. Not with me, actually. I say it's the royal me. You should definitely hashtag painting protocol it, because I think if somebody painted negative Dormammu, everybody in the studio is going to want to see that. He's got little... He's been eating cookies. He's got cookie crumbs everywhere, all over his face. So I'm kind of blacklining all this right now, but eventually when I paint the fire, it'll probably get some of that on there. So I have to go back and touch it up, but that's okay. I want to kind of define, get a feel for where I'm at on the miniature. Right now. Oh, he's the only light in the dark dimension. Yeah, I love it. I love it. We're just going to keep doing this. And it's 2:02. I'm in trouble. I'm going to be late to a meeting. That's alright. Y'all will vouch for me, right? Let's finish up this shoulder and call it a day. I'm going to blend that up. Sort of like watercoloring a lot. That's the way I paint. Lance a lot's got my back. Thanks, Lance. Alright, I'm feeling real good about this Dormammu. What do y'all think? Everything's black. It says black and red. He says so much black. It's amazing. He's so evil. Not my Dormammu. My Dormammu is going to be the giant hero of the dark dimension. Alright, that's a pretty good start. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to throw it on the ground. I'm going to do this. That's the wrong one. Man, I did it again. So don't forget to check us out over at Atomic Mass Trends, or don't forget to check us out over at Twitter. You can follow us at Atomic Mass Games. If you go to Instagram, you can use hashtag Painting Protocol. Post up pictures of your Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. Every month we take a look at it, we share it, and like to talk about it. So don't forget that. Twitter will show you all the nice news, information, and announcements for Atomic Mass Games. So don't forget to check us out there. Tomorrow we'll be back for Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. And remember, it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can join into Atomic Mass Transmissions Live to hang out, paint, and do some fun stuff. Talk about things that we can't talk about and some stuff we can talk about. So I'm gonna finish up that layer of black on this, and then we'll be back next week to highlight it and do some fire on Thursday. So get ready for that. So until next time, we will catch you later. And remember, go out and be the hero we all know you can be. We'll see you later. Talk to you later. I gotta hit these buttons that I'm learning how to use because I don't know how to use it. Stand by. It's a new program. That's all it is. I'm just learning a new program.